While most Americans are worried about inflation and gas prices, the world's wealthiest families are quietly preparing for something much bigger: the collapse of the dollar as the global reserve currency. And they're not just preparing, they're accelerating it. The pattern they see that you don't. 3 times in history, a global reserve currency has collapsed. Spain's silver real, Britain's pound sterling, and each time, the families who saw it coming moved their wealth before everyone else realized what was happening. Right now, we're watching the same pattern unfold with the American dollar, and the people who control trillions in wealth are already moving. What the Rothschilds are doing: the Rothschild family has survived every currency collapse for 200 years. Here's what they're doing now: massively increasing their gold holdings, buying productive farmland across multiple continents, and shifting investments away from dollar-denominated assets. In 2023, they increased their physical gold position by 40%. That's not speculation, that's preparation. The Saudi royal family's billion-dollar bet. For 50 years, Saudi Arabia only accepted dollars for oil. That agreement created the petrodollar system that made America's currency dominant worldwide. In 2023, Saudi Arabia announced they would accept yuan for Chinese oil purchases. In 2024, they joined discussions about a BRICS currency to replace the dollar. The family that helped create dollar dominance is now betting against it. They're diversifying into gold, euros, yuan, and hard assets. When your biggest ally starts hedging, that's not a rumor, that's a warning. What Chinese billionaires know. China's wealthiest families are moving money out of dollars faster than ever. They're buying real estate in Singapore, London, and Dubai. They're purchasing gold by the ton. They're investing in resources, mines, farms, energy. Why? Because they know China holds over $1 trillion in US debt, and they're watching their government slowly sell it off. When China dumps dollars, Chinese billionaires don't want to be holding them either. The Silicon Valley strategy. Even American tech billionaires are preparing. They're buying Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a hedge. They're purchasing massive ranches in New Zealand and building underground bunkers. They're moving assets into Swiss banks and Singapore accounts. Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Reid Hoffman, all diversifying away from pure dollar holdings. These are the people with access to the best economic intelligence in the world, and they're not keeping everything in dollars. Why they're all moving now? Here's what they see that the average American doesn't. The mathematical endgame. America owes $36 trillion. That's 120% of our entire economy. We're paying nearly $1 trillion per year just in interest. We're printing money to pay interest on previously printed money. Every empire that did this eventually faced the same choice: default on the debt or destroy the currency through inflation. There's no third option. The BRICS alternative. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa are building an alternative to the dollar. 40 countries have expressed interest in joining. That represents half the world's population. They're not doing this in secret, they're announcing it openly. And the world's wealthiest families are positioning themselves for this transition. The gold rush nobody's talking about. Central banks bought more gold in 2023 than any year since 1950. China, Russia, India, Turkey, all massively increasing gold reserves. But it's not just governments. Wealthy families are buying physical gold and storing it outside the United States. They're buying gold mines. They're acquiring silver, platinum, rare earth minerals. Why? Because when currency fails, hard assets survive. They always have. The 3 assets they're accumulating. 1. Physical gold and silver. Not paper gold. Not gold certificates. Physical metal stored in secure vaults in Switzerland, Singapore, and UAE. The Rothschilds didn't survive 2 centuries of currency collapses by trusting paper promises. 2. Productive land. Farmland, timberland, resource-rich property. Bill Gates is now America's largest farmland owner. Chinese investors are buying farms across Africa and South America. When currency fails, land that produces food and resources holds value. 3. Energy and resources. Oil fields, natural gas reserves, lithium mines, water rights. The families who control resources control wealth regardless of which currency dominates. What this means for regular Americans. When the dollar loses reserve currency status, everything changes overnight. Imports become drastically more expensive. Gas, electronics, clothing, all cost multiples of current prices. The government will have to slash spending or print even more money, causing hyperinflation. Either way, anyone holding pure dollar savings gets destroyed. The wealthy families see this coming. That's why they're moving now, before the crisis hits, before regular people realize what's happening. The timeline nobody wants to admit. Spain took 80 years to collapse after their peak. Britain took 40 years. The Soviet Union took just 900 days. Each collapse happened faster than the previous one. And each time, the people who saw it coming and prepared beforehand survived. The ones who trusted the system until the end lost everything. We're not at the beginning of this process. We're in the middle. The wealthy families moving their assets now aren't paranoid. They're informed. What you can learn from them. You don't need billions to apply the same strategy. Diversification, hard assets, skills and resources that hold value regardless of currency. The pattern is clear. 3 reserve currencies have collapsed before. Each time, the people who prepared early survived. The people who waited lost everything. The world's most powerful families are preparing. They're moving quietly but decisively. They see what's coming because they've studied what happened before. The only question is, will you see it too, or will you be one of the people asking how it happened so fast when the collapse finally comes? The dollar's dominance isn't permanent. Nothing in history ever is. And the people who control real wealth have already accepted that truth and positioned themselves accordingly. The question isn't whether the dollar will lose its reserve status. The question is whether you'll be prepared when it does.